Figured it out yet? What's that? Who's the best pilot?
No, I think I can figure that one out on my own.
Tom Cruise, Kelly McGillis. Top Gun.
Greetings, whoever this may concern. Christian Aguilar here, back with another movie review. And in today's movie review, I'm going to be reviewing the 1986 film Top Gun. Top Gun stars Val Kilmer, Kelly McGillis, Anthony Edwards, and of course Tom Cruise. And it's about students who compete against each other at a United States Navy's elite fighter weapons school, while one of the most daring pilots of them all, Maverick, learns a few things from a civilian instructor who is played by Kelly McGillis. So my first initial thoughts on the movie, right while I was watching it and right as I finished it, to my surprise, I thought this movie was okay. I didn't think it was like over the top good. I just thought it was all right. I just thought that there was really like nothing special or really like anything to write home about in this movie. And it's a funny thing too, because when it comes to 80s movies in particular, to me, it feels like they could either be really cheesy, so much so that they're a product of their own decade, or they do have some cheesiness in them, but the story, the acting, and the direction, and just like all of it transcends it into becoming a timeless classic. Like when I sat down and watched Back to the Future, fell in love with it, you know? And I even watched Back to the Future when I was in high school, so I was a little late on it. I wasn't like a little kid that watched Back to the Future. I was in high school and I'm like, dude, this is pretty cool, you know? So it's that feeling you get when you know you're watching a classic. I had the same feeling when I watched John Carpenter's The Thing or Tim Burton's '89 Batman, 16 Candles even. I mean, all of them just had a sense of, yeah, this is great and this will last throughout time. But then there's some other ones that are really, you know, they don't really catch my interest. And I hate to say this, but Top Gun is one of those 80s movies that just didn't catch my interest, and it didn't really catch me as, oh, this is a classic and I got to rewatch this, I got to buy this on 4K, Blu-ray, whatever the case may be. And I was a little turned off by it. I was like, man, I was expecting something just a little bit better. Just a little bit better, you know? And I think the one thing that really threw me off when watching this movie is halfway into it, I realized that there's no plot. There essentially really is no plot. It's just chronicling the ins and outs of this Navy fighter pilot squadron, you know? Like, yeah, you got to build up the brotherhood, you got to build up the sense of team there, you know? I do admire that they let the group of people breathe. Like, they have all Act 1 and all of Act 2. Like, we have all this time to get to know them. So when stuff really starts hitting the fan in the third act, there's a little bit of stakes there. There's a little bit of loss. You know, it's not just the characters lost someone, the audience lost them as well. Say if the audience grew to know them and they liked them throughout the course of the movie, towards the end, they're going to be heartbroken. And I think that's where the movie's strong punch really lays. But to know that there's not really a plot for the majority of this movie, and for it to be kind of like a war film, it's like you go into this thinking it's like a war film. You're going to see like a bunch of fights and a lot of, you know, like action, explosions and gun shootouts, dog fights, you know, but even the air stuff, even the aircraft scenes are really, really convoluted. They're really janky and all over the place. It just felt like it was just chaotically cut together. And they kind of left it like that, and their excuse is like, well, if you're in an actual dogfight, it's pretty chaotic. So it's like we're going to have the movie scenes be that chaotic. And it didn't really work for me because a lot of it, I didn't know who was who really until they did the close-ups, the singles. Then you saw their helmets, which I did like that. That was pretty cool. But when they're flying around and you just see the aircraft, and you really don't kind of know who's who. But I guess after watching the movie so many times and, you know, loving it and just rewatching it, you can figure it out over time. But just coming off my first watching, I thought those were pretty confusing and all over the place. So what do I rate Top Gun? There's a lot of it that I was not really satisfied with. I thought it was going to be a little bit better, but I did like some of the cinematography, and of course the soundtrack is, it's hard not for the soundtrack to be classic. I have to give this a solid 2.5 out of 5 Skarsgårds, and if you're wondering what that is literally halfway. So there's 5 stars, cut that in half. That's 2.5 Skarsgårds. So it is directly half the ranking. So I like to think of the 5-star ranking as like, you know, we can also count it as out of 10 because each star equals 2, right? So it's like 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So if I give a 5 out of 5 is 10 out of 10. So this is literally a 5 out of 10. 2.5 out of 5. Think of it that way. That's how it's laid out. There's a lot of things in this movie that I know of just simply from pop culture because this movie is so quotable and it's so iconic, right? So it was so cool to see those iconic moments play out in a movie I've never seen before. And to see them play out, I'm like, okay, this is the movie where it came from. This is what people saw. I'm like, it's pretty cool. But ultimately, it didn't really catch my attention and it didn't really catch my interest as much as I thought it would when I finished it. I thought I was gonna, end up liking it. But I do respect it because it's a very successful movie. A lot of people love it, and it even spawned a sequel. I think almost 40 years later. It's been some time, and I gotta say, comparing the first one and the second one, it's easy to see which one is going to be the better one. I mean, you had 40. I think there's around 40 years of improvement or 40 years of evolution in technology. That if this second one wasn't better than the first one, yikes. But yeah, it was, and I don't know if I'm going to be doing a video that compares the two. Maybe not. If you want to see that, let me know. I thought I was going to do that for this review, but no, I kept it strictly to the first movie. I have seen the second one. I have seen Maverick. I recorded my initial reaction and review of it right in the theater. I just got into a little hallway and just started recording myself and my thoughts on it, and yeah, better than the first one. That is it for today's video. Thank you so much for reading to the end of it. Have you seen Top Gun, the first one? Let me know down below if you have, if you love it, if you hate it. Just let me know your thoughts down below. And as always, please like, share, and subscribe. Support the channel. It's very much appreciated. The Rendered Image is a show I co-host with my good friends Tyler and Shannon. Link to that channel will be down below in the description. We go over all the latest movie news, updates, and trailers, so be sure to check that out. I hope you're all safe and well out there, and I'll see you all in the next one. Take care.